Our first Vertigo, our second of Punish Pit coming out. And mousesports looking to take a stab at the Ninjas. We get to see this one once again, locking horns and looking for revenge. Lots to be said as we get into this one.
Interesting smoke. I'm not sure if they intended for that to miss the deep window position here, but crawling behind it, first fight taken, Frozen spots one.
Yeah, I think he's brave to keep fighting this. He wants to maintain information, and Hampus lingering in that mid-smoke, crawling up the red room, perhaps. With Rez firing off some shots, this may go overlooked. Akor's still responsible.
Oh, blindsided.
Yeah, that's the end of Rez. Great start. Hampus trying to pip a gap here, and he might get away with it already.
Oh, they know that Hampus is up to these tricks right now. Is he gonna? He's flanking A. That's where 3 are, and well, now diverting over towards the B site. Akor is about to get caught with his back open
this
here.
Is so perfect. You couldn't ask for more. Just, yeah, work his magic. Confirms the kill. Bymas not going to be able to do anything from his cave position. He'll start very early ramp flank. The rotate through mid's on its way, but this is shaping up beautifully. They've even got a Molotov. If they start working out where the lion's share of these CTs are coming from.
Well, there's that volley.
Yeah, gone. Linus doesn't get to drop it. Up the ramp they go. Bymas going to be fighting for that, and you can see Bymas will actually deploy it to kind of isolate the fights from the long side. Dexter trying to find a way back in. This frag is everything. Hampus with one, he'd have to find all of the rest. It's not even planted for him, they haven't.
But they didn't pick up the kit. They needed to kill it. They needed a defuse.
Yeah, they got it. 10 seconds, just about across the line. And we will see mousesports take the pistol. I loved every part of the NiP side to get the bomb down. Just not enough bodies dropped on the mousesports squad.
That was getting close, all things considered. I like the response from Bymas, right? As soon as Akor goes down, Akor's responsible for holding the B ramp push. Bymas has just pushed through cave, and that's contained them, right? That's held NiP to the site. So there's no playing passive for those post plants. They did have a little bit more control, but not enough. And the scoreline will now read 1-0. 1x bet odds at the start of the game there, if you caught them, just favouring Mounds, I do believe. That this is quite a close game. I think this is a hard one to call. Nice little cave smoke coming out there. You're going to see that a lot. And the other combo that NiP throw on their T side to get mid control is a top mid smoke into Red House, a deep donut smoke with that Molotov, right? That one that uses the skybox. It seems like it goes forever. Well, that's because it does. And you'll see that's how they'll get Hampus out mid in a lot of these rounds. But this time a slower pace. Plopsky up towards the ledge. Linus lining up a window smoke, and that's going to be deployed.
Ton of nades. So they've got full intentions to
gap in that?
Respond here. It looks like one, but I think it's fine.
He's going to flash through for Frozen to fight.
Frozen steps out. Easy collection. There's more, way more than he bargained for, and now the M4 is in the hands of Rez, looking to make early impact. That was an opening kill, keeping track of Rez's impact in those openings. And Hampus just kept honest by the Bymas FAMAS.
Well, that bomb is loose. Device has been able to pick it up here, but this would be a necessity, and it is. Rez, that's a big find right there. B-bomb site's kind of open.
Kind of, and they've got the smokes necessary. I mean, like, Rez can throw out his, a Molotov on the right side. They're both so deep. I don't think he's even threatened by them at all. Bymas still can contest. And Rez is going to be his first victim. Akor to be utilized after. Device on the cross back, and yeah, too many players, too many bullets. And no plant. Cancelled again. Bymas with 2 highly impactful yet passive rounds to defend the B site.
Yeah, good stuff there. So Mouse survived. It did get sketchy for a moment, and we can talk about, because you saw the flash through the smoke and Frozen going for that fight. There's another flash that you see. Dexter over towards the B bomb site. Will play in the wooden cubby, and there's a little slit in the roof that he can flash from B towards middle, and that's how Mouse will re-aggress and get info. So we have to keep our eyes on those little elements right there. But it has to be the save for NiP now. They've upgraded with 3 Deagles, a P250, and a Tech 9, so a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah, and they'll get Akor, you know, with a little bit more pep in his step. He can have some fun, get some ants in his pants, and maybe even some frags in his bag. He pushes on the nade, interestingly enough, and that's resulted in a free MP9 and a frag.
Yeah, and I think here, right, it doesn't seem like a massive problem right now. But if NiP play the clock and they play the number game, if they group up and are able to find another kill here, they can start having a conversation about stealing round number 3 away. This isn't the force buy, right? This is just a light investment here. Doors smoked off. That will deny for another 20 seconds. But we're still going to have about 55 for NiP to operate.
Yeah, and they do put a lot of faith into Bymas on this B side of the map. I think given the state of affairs as well, they're more than comfortable knowing that he should have it covered. Set up for this mid-fight as they do start to trickle on across that box. Frozen holding the cubby position, and it looks easy for the first. Rez gone, and as he maneuvers away, The chance is starting to dwindle. They're starting to focus their attention on B, and with another one out of Hampus' Deagle, it's game time. Dexter's the only one there, dude. This actually could spiral. They didn't even invest. If they get the bomb down, like, genuinely awkward. Kit's on Rops. He's all the way in Donut right now, and they're taking their time, understandably. No nades at all.
They're going to have Cave as a question because they didn't clear it. They didn't pick up the Famis, right? So if they go through Cave late, well, they have to worry about that on this B-bomb site take. 20 seconds, they're going in.
Here they come. Dexter does nothing with his time. Uncontested plan, 2 remaining. mousesports calling upon Rops and Frozen to solve all their problems. And solve they will. It's up against unarmored opponents. They've got all the equipment they may need, but they're running out of players. Rops the last man to the site, and it's already practically lost. The clock's on the Ninjas' side here. If they just survive, if they just avoid Rops as best they can, they got the info now. And they'll just tease it.
Guys,
we are still live.
We
are still live. Rops with another, and now actually an opportunity to try and force this last fight. He doesn't have the kid, so Linus has pulled him off just in time. No time.
Okay, well, that one got a bit awkward there for everybody, us included. The bomb will go off, Rops will survive, and that is going to be the first round on the board for NiP. Now, that right there is just showing you, at this highest level of play, even when the opponent only has upgraded pistols, right? No armor, no util. It was just upgraded pistols, that if you give away an opening kill for free, this was it. You can see just how quickly the rest of these fights can be isolated, right? This is just hitting some massive shots. So Hampus, huge stuff from him. Rops giving this one a crack, and as we saw, well, couldn't pull it off, but he did get to hold on to his AUG. So that's something that we can take into the next round for Mousers. They'll be taking a save of their own here. Mid-control being fought for, and Rops' AUG is ready. Can't get anything done. Hampus is off to a hot start today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Hampus is always going to have a volatility to his play because he's going for openings. You know, it's just the lay of the land. A missed smoke, perhaps. Didn't quite catch the equalizer out of Dexter.
But Bymas is pushing off the back of that, so if he can pick up this rifle, look, I don't want to have a conversation in the same way we did in the last round. I don't think it's going to fall apart in the same way here. NiP grouped up, and Bymas does a good chunk of damage. Linus kept on notice.
Hampus, yeah, exactly my thoughts as well. He's just taken so much space away from mousesports, and if he can not only survive, but just get himself deep into CT, park the bus, they aren't going to know where Frozen is. It's still unconfirmed, and Acor lingers in the spawn, and now he's been given an AK, Chad.
That's
this one
a gift and a molly.
Starts to fall away. Yeah, he's got to line up for this. Trying to deny that default plant spot. It doesn't look bad either. It's a good spread on the corner. He won't be able to plant. Blocky has to go hunting, and Frozen's USP does fall. Acor, though, with some impact, partners up with the Bymas recovered rifle as well. Rez working his magic, and now it's all onto Acor in the 1v1. Fake, surely. Tucked in safe, nothing on his first peek, and Acor's in the open for Rez, saving the Ninjas right down to the wire.
Oof, that was an absolute mare right there for a moment, wasn't it? I know that NiP just won a similar round here, but on the CT side, they get the AUG down immediately. Threat seems like it's been removed, and at that point, it's like, well, NiP just have to group up and trade. It got interesting. It probably got a little bit too interesting, but we're all tied up here, 2-2. A couple of nice shots here. The awareness, right? The awareness right there, I wonder if Frozen caught anything. It didn't look like it, but just the awareness there for Acor to swivel.
Yeah, and just the fact we didn't see Frozen get any info is more impressive for Acor and his reaction and read. Hampus has been contained, flashes himself out to try and keep them honest, and the smokes have been deployed by the Ninjas, so he gets a free passage up to this mid box.
Yeah, that was that mid control we're talking about, right? They did that exact util set.
Like the skybox molly, 2 smokes, a couple of flashes. Mid is yours.
Yeah, you have to respect it early if you're Mouse, because you get caught in no man's land, but they can go for a little bit of a retake scenario there, and that's a flash through. Interesting one there. That allows Frozen to have a little bit of a look, but this is a passive setup, and the priority for mousesports is lamps and cave. There's an opener. Rez.
He's brave to commit to a spray on an angle like that.
It's just the tip of the head, right? They force Frozen back here so they can start working on Acor's position, but he's about to be smoked off.
And the sound cue's given. Rops is on a really quick one. He's looking to wrap behind him, and it's worked. Striking into Hampus and completely disrupting the NiP attack. They're going to have to commit to B. That has sent them in. Dexter from this cave position. He's got Bymas in support. This is an important duel, and he strikes perfectly. Device caught looking the wrong way. Rez with a flank of his own design, and now suddenly with a flurry of frags in favor, leaving just Bymas as that second in the cave. Rez catching another on the flank. That will keep Acor busy too. So it's 2 1v1s right now. You've got Rez duking it out with Acor, Bymas keeping Plopsky off the bomb. Rez has baited a shot out of Acor, and he's even recovered a smoke. That's so dreamy, Chad.
Surely Acor doesn't go through that. He has to go around. Like, you cannot disrespect that smoke if you're Acor. Now he has to regroup with Bymas here, who's still isolated towards cave.
No util now. It's time for the bullets, at least for the T side. You can see CTs will be using everything they can to close that gap. Time about half gone.
No kid either.
Here's the flash for the go. Both out of that cave position. Good duel from Plopsky, and they do wrap it up, put a bow on it, and call it 3.
Wow, okay, that's a very awkward round. And I think maybe one of the mind games that is playing into the reason that Rez can go for that flank is who do we normally see doing that? It's Hampus, and Hampus was already dead. Rops found Hampus very early. This is the kill right here, jumping up the ledge. All right, well, the mid lurky boy is gone. But Rez, with that much impact, he just isolated those fights. The fact that Plopsky was able to get the bomb down, I'm surprised Bymas didn't try and charge him down or take that fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know how you said, or we've discussed that Brett loves to theorycraft. I mean, I think you're starting to see just the evidence of that. He's like, okay, if I keep throwing this util set that you're looking at right there on Hampus's screen, as long as we have one person set up by the time it's fading into that red room, it's just a question of when you choose to push. You know, like it's so much power. And you can turn, I reckon, even 3v5s on the regular over in your favor if you lock that down and have access into the site. You just start poking B. Oh, and poking A is Rops. He's pushed the A halls. He's been spotted out though, and that kind of cancels his plans.
Well, that could be one of the changes here that Mouse are looking for, right? If they know that they're going to get the room to push A, we've seen Rops do it once. He's gone to do it twice. That information might be something that mousesports have identified in the lead up to this matchup. Now, they've had a week and a bit to look at NiP's Ancient.
Maybe even their Vertigo, considering their pick.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Obviously, the draws were only done Sunday night, so you weren't too certain on who you're playing here, but I'm sure Mouse were quite intently watching. Yeah,
I mean, Mouse's Vertigo record is one in its own. I think, in fact, in the 3 games that they've played and lost, they've got a grand total of 18 rounds. And yet here to punish the NiP boys, Vetoes, hello, Rez, nice little knock off the head, and that rest should fall into place nicely. Not much a P250 and an Armored Deeg should have to say in this one. Now with the bomb going down, Acor sprayed down, and Rez looking very effective on that AK-47.
Yeah, I know it's against an eco here. You brought it up before, Peta from HLTV, talking about how Rez, out of the 120 players within the group, there should be devices every other week, see you later, was the lowest rated in terms of finding entries.
Yeah.
So NiP were also with that ranked 21st out of 24 teams in that field, I believe. I want to reread it.
Sounds like they've been doing it the hard way, though. I mean,
the fact that they made it, right, I think is a surprise to everybody. But I feel that conversation is very similar to have about mousesports, because their group came down to the final day as well, right? We obviously had FaZe not making it through in the final day of play. So both of these teams, I think they're in a similar position, right? We wanted to see more. We want to see them tested. We're looking for consistency out of some of their individuals, right? Rez, for example, on the NiP side. I think Acor is one of the individuals that the desk highlighted, especially in the head-to-head against Device for the AWP, who's going to need to step up. Now, the AWP, I don't know how much of a factor it's going to be on the T side here for NiP. I don't think it's something that we've seen Device necessarily go for at all.
We've already seen them in at least the first AWP purchase out of Acor walk over that corpse and not pick it up. So I think, of course, so far, the evidence does seem to lean towards NiP happy to operate with 5 rifles for their T side of Ancient. All right, little light on the nades for a couple of members of Mouse, and not a single kit in sight. Let's get into it. Round 7, big one, and NiP. It looked like they're going to show us exactly how effective a B-take can look. Oh, Acor disrupts. A quick peek straight down the ramp, and Hampus forced to watch the rest of this one.
Yeah, well, Hampus is the most aggressive part of this NiP roster here, so let's see how they operate when he's out of the equation. Towards mid, they're about to rumble. Another smoke for Cave, and, well, that forces NiP elsewhere. Frozen is the man with the plan over towards Donut. And Bymas is getting very cheeky here, just seeing if he can exploit any of those tiny gaps for information. Won't get anything for his troubles.
They have got the entire squad out of a choke point like this, silently crouching their way down. Oh, well, there, the jig is up. Frozen spots him out. summons Rops into a passive plateau setup. A crossfire now established between the two sharpest tools in the mousesports shed. He's there just in the nick of time. Rops across, and actually he's looked away, averted his gaze. Nothing substantial, nothing concrete in the information at this point. It's Rops perhaps to take that first contact. He's been spotted out early, and Frozen has to do it all now. Not going to be easy. 14 bullets left in the mag. Molotov's out, just burning. Takes one with him. Done well to keep it competitive. Linus to be denied the plant. Acor with an effective frag. And poor Plopsky. He's only got 30 seconds now, and all of that util starting to fade. He's got to take dry duels against Orpas, and that doesn't end well. mousesports hold steady. Acor with an impactful rotate as well. 3 in that defensive A. Yeah, responded nicely there, and you think that the whole plan changed as soon as Hampus died, right? They isolated the fact that the AWP of Acor was over towards B long, so they thought, all right, well, we're just going to give this a miss. We'll give you a replay of this shot because I think this was the most impactful. This whole scenario here where Frozen got caught and the crossfire from Rops looked a little bit janky, I think that just has to come down to the timing, right? The fact that Frozen, as he's moving into Temple, got spotted. Otherwise, he maybe just holds that line. So there's that molly again. Here we go. Round number 8 getting underway. Hampus out mid, immediately taking, well, a bunch of damage down to 51. Sorry, 49. Took 51. Yeah, Hampus surely going to be booked on this one if it... I say he could be booked. Maybe mousesports are vulnerable if there's a sound cue heard. He's walked straight into Acor's aim. Misses his shot. Hampus gets a second chance. He's pinned now, though. Are they going to try to isolate him? Bymas' gimmick has gotten him some info, and looks like Plopsky returning the favor, just spanking his bottom on the way out. They know Hampus is here, right? So how many members are they going to have watching this? Dexter wants to clear him out. He really wants to get this frag. Get this rat out of the system now. Because otherwise, this is exactly what NiP have been fishing for. Like, this is their dream mid-round. You've got 4 set up with B control and util. Hampus has his red room. Here they come from every angle. I know he's on the left. Every angle. Fine. No worries. Frozen solved the problem, and the rest of the ninjas are all coming in single file. Some util deployed. Acor with the disrupted smoke dropped. Do you have to go through that? Flashes better be good. Bymas does lose vision, but from behind he should strike, and he's good for it. And that's a solid CT shutout. NiP kept very honest in these last 2. Yeah, that one right there all just comes down to the cat and mouse game of Hampus pushing top mid, right? So they isolate the fact that he's there, and then they take the risk because Frozen had to walk through middle with his back turned. You know, that's a gamble right there. There's nobody mid, there's nobody swinging out from the ledge position. And at this moment, Dexter immediately starts rotating over towards B. There's good stop utility coming out of Mouse here to make this push up through the B ramp position even more difficult. And they walk away with an important one because that sends NiP back down to just these pistols. Yeah, and really cool. I mean, I know it seems simple when you're watching it play out, but Acor dropping that smoke at the mouth of ramp and having Bymas just play close to it. He's A, able to play anti-flash safely, and B, it's just that temporary wall for him to hide behind as they exec through. Really nice. Here he is again. Yeah, Bymas could have some potential to play. Plopsky's going to start playing with that gap now. All too aware of Bymas and his power positions. I suppose if you're a professional player and that's your new spot in the map, as soon as any developments are made, you see one player doing something you weren't doing, you are going to dig deeply into that. Yeah, you got to be on top of that type of stuff here. And well, there you go, Dexter with the opener. That's the little flash wombo combo you're going to see in mid a lot. Dexter for Frozen, Frozen for Dexter. They'll be helping each other out here. And then I feel this is a perfect position for Bymas. For somebody who's a rookie like he is, who's just a bit of an aimer, you put him in a spot and you say, just put your crosshair here. And when their heads come in front, just click mouse 1. Right? That's what we're looking for, Bymas. It's obviously quite a technical position when you're talking about those gaps and the timings. But due to the T's smoking it off themselves, you get an extra 20 seconds on holding that position. You know they're not coming. You get to set up, right? So it's actually quite the luxury for Bymas here. Yeah, and I mean, unless he's playing in Gambit, he'd probably have 3 other players with him in that cave position. Something that was interesting that stood out to me was Gambit's belief that playing and holding the site from that cave position as a unit is their solution. I can't believe he's gone down to the spray there. Oh, dear. This is getting real problematic now. They've tried to make a move for info, but now Bymas is isolated. That means Dex is the lone man on this B bomb site. Yeah, he's going to have to do an awful lot with this one. He's going to get walked on as well. Device creeping up already. Oh, that might save him. Yeah, maybe. At least for the reposition. There's a little gap around for the peak. And, oh, that's the end of Dexter. That could be the end of the B site as well. 2 picks across the map, and NiP profiting from their earlier adventures.
I don't want to be pointing fingers, right? That's not the intention of what I'm doing here, but in 2 of these key rounds, right, obviously the pistol upgrade round that NiP won was Hampus taking Acor out pushing middle, and this time around it was Hampus through the smoke. This is Bymas getting some exits alongside of Rops here. They won't be going for this one. They'll just be holding on to their goodies. Playing the long game right now, Mouse. And 5 on the T side for NiP. That's pretty good so far, right? As far as Ancient in its development is going, this map has a bit of a CT-sided bias.
You gave me a really easy to digest perspective on it when you looked and compared it to, was it the Train and Nuke stats? That it was like around 53, 54, like it was just beneath traditional Train?
Yeah, I think I started looking at like historical, but then I narrowed it a bit more down to...
like last year or something.
Yeah, I tried to narrow it down to just like what's been going on this year. And I think in terms of maps, this one is in the top 3 for the conversation of being quite the CT bias, up there with the nukes, and I think Overpass as well as being quite CT bias in this group, this Pro League. And I think that's maybe because of like Fnatic, for example, right? You think about how many CT-sided rounds they were getting. But another fun fact with Ancient is it's only been played 11 times alongside of Vertigo. Those 2 are the least played maps. It's roughly 7.8% or something along those lines for each of them. And with Ancient, NiP have played it 3 times in their group, and Mouse have played it twice. So these guys have, between the 2 of them, played 5 Ancient games out of the total 11. Yeah,
so we've got our Ancient squad and locking horns this evening. And everything's, you know, much simpler now. We're out of the groups, we're out of the mathematical equations and the gifts. Simple, win you're in, lose you're out. And this is the round of 12, so those that didn't quite manage to top their groups. And I think mousesports and NiP are both an embodiment of exactly that kind of Counter-Strike. You know, at times it's been exciting, at others it's not. A mixed bag of results, and I think coming into these playoffs, both of these squads are looking for a little bit more consistency and redemption. Same utils dumped into middle. We'll see Acor probably playing this one a little differently, and in fact he has gone over to B early. Having a look at that. Ooh. Bymas, good utils, kept Hampus honest, but I think he'll still be able to get across prior to that smoke fade. Good utils set out of Bymas, keeps him where he wants him, nades him as it fades. NiP have control though, at least of lane and cave.
Yeah, and Rops is pushing A again, so this really is becoming a theme right now. Look how far Rops is able to get here and not converting that frag onto Linus. That is a huge hemorrhage on the CT defense.
And Linus playing his role properly. I mean, that's not an easy job to be holding Rops and keeping him caged, but well played. Look at the angle. Device in the shrubbery. Doing a little bit of herb lore.
He might get one here, you know. It looks like Bymas wants to push.
Quite the angle.
Oh, he spotted something.
Yeah, between the leaves, between the 2 ferns. And here comes Zach Galifianakis himself. A fully flashed off Acor. Dead AWP. And NiP, they've still got 45 seconds, just one by one, dispatching of the Swedes. A bad flash, a dead Bymas. And now Frozen and Dex are just looking to try and make this a little more costly for the Ninjas, but damn, Rez is not slowing down for anyone. He's up to, what is he now, 14?
Yeah.
Another triple kill, multi-kill round out of him.
He was, before their game against Gambit, he was the 2nd lowest rated player for NiP.
That surprises me.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that was lacking, right? And I think in Gambit, he showed up in a massive way. You know, we were getting the Rez show, we had Hampus showing up in a big way as well. And now here today, he's clearly here to play. So this is good, right? This is what you want to see from what is your star of the future. NiP just renewed with Rez. Oh my lord. Straight through the smoke. That's a frag you're happy to take every day of the week.
Yeah, and I think just a little bit of excitement there for Hampus as he tries to push and disrespect the CT util.
Well, the double AWPs are being brought out here, so Rops is holding A with this, and he should be able to get 1 and 4.
Yeah, this is his every day of the week, and oh, the prize scalp takes down Rez. Now it's mousesports' turn to seize and convert off of an early advantage. Linus still holds firm on the A-halls.
He's been alright in some of the clutches, you know. We've seen him. He had that 1 on 4 against Gambit. He had an Ancient clutch as well. So let's see, what can he and Device do? Bomb's still available here. It's not like the mousesports side know that they have it loose right now. And Device, as he's noisily back through spawn. The sound bug here won't play as much as a factor. You don't know, is he going A or is he going B? You just know that there's someone in spawn right now. Oh, you heard those footsteps. Never mind. Frozen's heard that.
Definitely heard that. He had his paper cup up against the wall.
It's like a snake, right? They feel the vibrations.
It is very loud. It really does sound like they're actually in donut at times. And Rops has collected the penultimate frag in his only device and walked straight on into that AWP. So Rops' AWP is not only known, but good for 3. He'll be chucking that back over to Acor. It doesn't look like they can afford to maintain the double AWP presence. I'm surprised, didn't they? They did have a double AWP. Yeah, just not managed to maintain it.
Interesting. Well, I wonder what happened there.
Where did it go?
I don't know.
Did Acor die?
I don't think so.
It was 2. Acor, maybe it wasn't.
No, they definitely had a double AWP setup. I don't know, maybe they're doing something a bit different. Maybe there's a reason for the madness.
Yeah, of course there is. It's 6-6. NiP already very juicy with a 6th T-round posted. Hampus undeterred by his previous shortcomings, and he gobbles that flash. Dexter sets up Frozen, and and he tames the spray for a second as well. Device scouted out by that gap. Keeps his eye pressed to the scope regardless. And Plopsky's walking straight on into that AWP line. I don't fancy his chances on this one, and wow, good shot out of Dexter. Told of that. Linus snappy onto Rops. He's dancing with this AWP here. Flash actually looks quite promising. I like the way this man's thinking, but the flank is so quick. He is being pushed on. The flash perfect from him to try and close and isolate the gap onto Dexter. But from behind they strike. He does look ready for that, giving it a solid show.
Oh, there's a real conversation change right now. I think if we're keeping tally as well, Device just AWP'd Acor there. So we're getting a head-to-head on the AWP duel at least. But this is the mid-flash coming out here, setting Frozen up for 2 big frags. But the conversation will change a little bit now, because with the scoreline at 7-6, the money isn't there for NiP to go for a buy. They're going to have to take a save, and you can just see how humble it is. Hampus with a flash, a Tech 9 for Plopsky, and Linus into a Deagle. So this should be 8 here for mousesports. They're going to win out the half, and straight through the molly. They're going to take so much damage. Look at all of this, and they're still able to run him down.
Yeah, the product of disrespecting the flames is Frozen's caught with a nade in his hand. Rotate on the way, damage inflicted, but now they've got another. They could actually get the bomb down here, Chad.
Look at the flash.
It's so perfect. Dexter can't deny the plan, but he can take 2 of the 3 on the site. Linus another from his Deeg. 3 HP, but he puts Dexter on his ass. There's still something to be said about this. They've got so much time, so much util. It should just be a formality. I can't believe NiP have made it this close. They want to push it. They should have him. Acor misses, goes for the no-scope. Now NiP have the advantage. Bymas is smoking a kit. That might be his best bet. He thinks the same. Time getting a bit sensitive here. Some stray bullets. He might have to hold it. Does fake it out. He needs them both. He needs them now. Linus trying to knife him in the smoke. He'll take 1, but there's no time. NiP on an eco, Chad. Linus is Deagle and Plopsky as well. They'll snatch a 7th. That's absolute daylight robbery.
Oh, this first half now, you reflect on it for mousesports. They have lost 2 rounds in similar fashion. The Hampus Deagle with multiple openings in the 3rd round of the game. And here, as they're just taking control of the economy late, they were setting themselves up for what could have been a 9-6. They fumble. They fumble in a big way. What a round to lose right here. This could completely change. NiP can now walk away with the 8. Their buy is much better. We got an MP9, we got a Deagle, 2 Famuses, and sure, the AWP's out here, but that's a big one to drop.
Yeah, that's going to really leave a mark. mousesports going to be feeling the brunt of that one. Hampus up to his usual antics. He's very stubborn on his mid-fight. Frozen with the flash. This time Hampus ready. Dexter peeks out. So he knows a little bit more about the setup now. Rob's aggressive in the halls. Duking it out with Rez.
Yeah, Rez here. Looks like he's aware of something. The jiggle. Oh. Rez knows. And Rez converts. Number advantage here, HP advantage as well. Dexter's still low. He's had to rotate over towards this A site. They're very susceptible all across the map right now, mousesports.
Oh, well, one clawed back as Devices look to pose and prod and get some info on B. Another body dropped on the B side. That's going to propel them into A here. Frozen with a lovely little off angle and keeps them distracted for 1. Dexter another. Hampus should be set for this first onto Dexter, but as he turns to flash, well played. The in-game leader from Mouse recovers a little bit of their shortcomings in the previous. 8 for Mouse, 7 for the Ninjas. Now it's time to see how mousesports T side shapes up.
Hey Future Pros! Locking down mid as a CT can put you in a good spot in a round of Ancient. So let's check out the Smoke Incendiary combo that the Chad Sponge Birchall likes to throw. Get into the middle of the doorway just before the steps.
Tablets. What else can they watch on? Etch-a-Sketch.
Projectors?
Projector screens. Great to see you in whatever capacity you have us in your living space tonight.
Maybe on an aeroplane.
Maybe you're watching live on an aeroplane. If you are, let us know, because that sounds pretty damn cool.
How you doing that?
How have you done that?
Especially live. All right, well, this is quite an interesting CT setup. 3 towards cave.
Dude, an armored CZ. Oh, it's not even armored.
This is going to get juicy.
But it's a very good pistol for that Jewel. Plofsky, that's a little bit uncomfortable, bro. He's been run down. Maybe that'll bait them in.
He got left hanging there.
He really did. They fully just abandoned
See ya, bro.
Yeah, now there's more to be done. Rez has got issues, and mousesports looking set for this pistol. Looking to go 2 for 2 in the pistol round. Nice recovery out of Linus. He's handed Hampus something, at the bare minimum, a kit, 2 frags available. And that's all he'll get. mousesports, okay, 100% of the pistols. Let's see if this time they can have the conversions, Chad.
Well, they'll probably convert against the Force, and then they'll lose against the light pistol upgrade. That just seems to be how this one's going there. But that's crazy that they just left Plofsky hanging like that, that he was the only one thrust so far forward. I would think with a cave stack, you would want to really fortify that position. But NiP had other plans, and so did mousesports. So here we go. The Force spy for NiP. Let's go a scout in play for Hampers, Deagles for the rest.
Another in-game leader on the second round scout.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's a couple of good positions that you wouldn't mind seeing the scout in here. Mid, if it's not smoked. Donut, not too shabby. In the A site, there's a bunch of different positions you can use that from. But if they keep you smoked like this, you can have a hard time finding a whole lot. And I think Dexter and Hampus are both in-game leaders who think that mid control on a map like Ancient is integral. Right? You're going to see it reflected in their play. Plofsky. There's a chance here. Acor just on the other side. He's seen the foot, and that's all he needed. The boots are too big for Plofsky right there.
Yeah, he put his clown shoes on this morning. Not even going to the circus. It's a mistake. Only make once.
That was an interesting angle adopted there by Acor as well, so maybe not something that Plofsky was too aware of here.
Jacob sticker? That's a proper throwback. Oh, yoy! And that is quite the headshot out of Hampus.
What was that?
Through the door. I haven't seen one of them. We're going to get scouts playing it like Dust 2 soon, just left and right strafing, banging through the doors.
That was a nice shot, but I think he's going to have to do a lot more than just that here. They're coming in towards B, and he's about to be smoked off. Oh, the tag, not bad.
Yeah, it's something, isn't it? Unfortunately, none of his teammates are nearby to build upon it.
All right, maybe we'll just call this one done then, because mousesports, once they get this bomb down, 40 seconds thrust onto the clock. Rez and Linus heading all the way over towards A main. Device just hanging around to see what he can find. And that Galil is going to be worth its weight in gold in the next round. So holding on to what they have right now, quite important. But the 1x bet odds, I think they'd shifted and they were favoring NiP, right, for this one now off that first half. And as we were talking about, this can be quite the CD-sided affair of a map. But like I'm saying about Dexter and Hampus, both thinking mid is a priority. They approach these maps, I wouldn't say in a similar way, but you have to have a similar philosophy if you think that it's a big piece of real estate.
Do you suspect we'll see the same util set on the gunnies?
I don't think so. They very much could do. I think that Mouse operate a little bit differently. They go about getting their mid control slightly differently to how NiP do. And I don't think, like, NiP get it straight away, right? Like, Hampus just runs straight out through. You will extinguish your molly. He'll just take that space. That's a lovely shot again.
Right.
Yeah, well,
yeah. I mean, it happens.
You saw that one coming, so.
It happens, I guess.
Who's going to be the only one having a stomach no upgrade here? I think it will be Plofsky. So everybody else with the Deagle has a decent chance here for NiP, right? Linus even has a kit and a smoke currently. So let's see how expensive they can make this one. Back over towards B. 3 players getting lane. From
Mr. Device. And now he's got a moment to try and tip the scales in favor. It's one Galil up against 5 rifles.
Are they going to bring that boost out? We've seen it quite a bit, right? If you boost in this corner, when they run in, you can get a bit of an angle. But I guess they're waiting for the commitment. The nade on through a little bit shy. They are coming.
Oh, okay, so Rez is really, that might incite the execute. Mousesports are coming. Device to be boosted, I thought. And Linus again, good for the damage on the Deeg. He's consistently putting his name in the feed on these buys. Loudly did drop off. Bymas is just wormed under that smoke, and it's fading now. Should see one here onto Robs at least. Return of fire not there. Plopsky even spotting him out. mousesports are losing another one, Chad. Surely not. He's got time, he's got health, he's even got Bymas by his side, not for much longer. And now frozen up against the entire squad. Bullets just chipping away, and eventually the war of attrition is won, and look what they leave with. Oh, disaster strikes in round 18 for mousesports. Let me see that res D, because I think it was just a blind little counter-strafe magic.
Oh, he's used that smoke against them.
Oof.
That was their grenade that didn't go deep enough, and oh, Lord.
Everyone hit him.
Absolute bangers of shots right there. Yeah, look, Mouse are going to buy. Acor's gone into a Krieg here. Cannot get the AWP out. Util is super light. NiP have only won 8 rounds. 3 of those 8 rounds have been ecos.
You just have to get Linus on a dig. Stop giving him rifles. Give the man a $700 pistol and the round is yours. They are already up B. There's a lot of ground covered here. A lot of ground. Linus caught out. Plopsky's going to have to do so much, and they ask too much of him. 1.5. It ain't enough.
See you, mate.
Bymas confirms our suspicions, and this is one way to solve things, a quickie. Straight into the site.
Look, I think if you're NiP, you got that eco, so you're not feeling as bad as you possibly could be right now. You can buy in that next round of play, so it's all good. But just to lose to that pace, that was just very quick. Just contact up long, take the fight. You can see Linus, with his peak a little bit wider, he's not ready for that, right? He wasn't peeking out with intent there. He wasn't expecting to be pushed up so quick. So lovely shooting there from Bymas, continuing to have a bit of a showing here. 21 kills for him. Was a force over towards that Lamps position, being a real nuisance for the likes of Plopsky. And yeah, if you take a look where Plopsky is right now, he's sitting at 7 kills. So it's Rez with 16. Linus, the rookie, he's managed to get 13 to his name. You'd love to start seeing a little bit more out of, you know, the devices of the world, the Hampuses of the world here on the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you've got Rez and Linus online, give me one more. Hampus, device, and you've got yourself a competitive ninjas.
Even Plopsky, right? We saw him have 1 or 2 good games, but he was another player that, you know, is in question of where is he? Because there was, for the longest time, Plopsky, when he came into this roster, it felt like he had some legs to it.
Dude, I remember when Plopsky was the more impressive than Brolin. You know, like that was the conversation. It was the battle of the 2 new rookie Swedes, and Plopsky was my favorite of the 2. Double molly from Mouse.
Double orbs as well from NiP.
Yeah, okay, so a couple of interesting ones for mid-take here. Frozen's on his way straight in, and oh my god, Device on the repeat. That is so brave. They're coming for you, bro. Takes down Bymas, can't quite bolt in time for a third, but that's that second AWP. Fires off a warning shot across the bow. Frozen left with just a scrap of health, and are they gonna commit? That is the question. Rez set for success, clears out Rops, and yeah, mousesports with very little left now. Acor and Frozen, you've got Donut, but it's looking far from appealing. What's an unappealing donut? Full of the jammy ones. No one wants like a classic jammy donut anymore. It's not the 1950s anymore.
You're right. But a
give me
good
some
warm cinnamon donut goes a long way.
Yeah, custard cream in the center. You've got my attention.
Dunkin' Donuts. That's, you know, someone could sponsor this map.
Yeah. The donut position brought to you by Krispy Kreme.
There you go. Let's see. We'll get them involved.
For every single position.
Get them on the phone.
Stop, because someone from sales is listening and they're actually just licking their lips at the idea of all the commission.
Or the free donuts.
Yeah.
One of the 2.
We're here in the Man Cave, brought to you by Old Spice.
All right, well, I feel like Mouse are trying to hide and save in plain sight here, just seeing if they're being aggressed upon. And I'm sure if you're NiP, you'd love to get the double orbs back out. Hampus will be able to drop in the next round of play, so it's not the end of the world. And NiP will respond after that gun round loss and find themselves now with 9. So just 2 rounds, you know, between mousesports and the Ninjas. I think that's what we were expecting coming into today, right? We didn't know what type of matchup we were going to get. We didn't know exactly who the favorite was. Both of these teams quite level. You go back and reflect at what happened in IEM Cologne as well. Here was the opener from Device. The second one was great, right? If he only gets 1 and goes down, maybe, just maybe, mousesports are able to press forward. Rez here smoking himself off in Temple, just isolating a single fight, and there you go. That's the frags. That's the round.
Yeah, well, called upon. He does deliver. Device with an impactful round for the Ninjas and a crucial juncture as well. Rock's teaching us all that stop molly mid. Hampus with his own. So they exchange and battle for control. Quite a quick one. Very quick. But Plopski's done well. Just pulls the trigger, completely blind, and catching Bymas' clothesline. This is a setup in mid now. Look at this. I mean, this is what everyone dreams of in their CT setups. Do they keep re-smoking that L-bend, or are they happy just to have Hampus considering it? In which case, Rez is ready to deal with anyone that walks up ledge. Damn, this setup is perfectly designed to house what Mouse have got.
And if you look at the radar right now, it looks like they're completely trapped on in. The only way would be back through spawn, so they have to be careful with all of these peaks. Rez is waiting, 17 kills. I'm sure he wants some more. If they go for the B exec, Hampus is going to be there immediately. Linus and Device are on the site. Plopski, he's rotated over towards A right now, but it won't be too long before he can join the squad. This is going to be a tough one.
Dexter, yeah, I don't envy him trying to call himself out of a 4v5 with this setup up against him. So they start and return to cave. I mean, Linus and Device are very passive. They are vulnerable to being smoked off, Chad.
I feel like they're giving them the site right now. This almost spells a bit like a retake setup, and double AWPs on the retake won't be easy here for NiP.
Yeah, Molly looks well placed.
Hampus' flank is coming now.
Device potentially onto A-core. Hampus pushing in now, and Robs clears him perfectly. Perhaps Rez will be the element of surprise they've been looking for. And the barrel spotted, still hits the shot on the AWP. And they look to hold this back from Cave. Oh, Dexter's kept on the pillar now, so he's... Oh, look at that plant spot. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that in a second to see if it becomes part and parcel of this round. Time ticking, Rez dueling with that Krieg. And that's the end of that. Plopski's had enough. Solid recovery now from mousesports, as it didn't look favorable, but a couple of well-placed smokes, and that double AWP retake, as you outlined, just not the one.
The fact that they were able to get through Cave so easily right there, they were ready for Hampus' flank. No way back in once that bomb's gone down, just smoked off, well handled here from Mouse. That's a very good round to win because they just stuck to their guns. We saw for what, the better part of 30, 40 seconds, they just stayed in limbo, right? They weren't aware if anybody had pushed T-spawn, but they knew that there was some form of aggression across the map, and they didn't put their head into the vice that was that Hampus Rez mid setup here. And this is the kill that really takes any excitement out of the setup we just saw for NiP, because Hampus is meant to be there quicker than Rops is expecting. Well, Rops was ready for it. A-core hitting a couple of nice ones, have to give him credit where it's due. And then Plopski, well, just has to save. So Mytha there, the coach of Mouse, he's loving that one. Doesn't know if he believes that one really happened or not there, I'm not sure. He's still holding his breath for a moment.
I can't for the life of me visualize what might have caused him to like panic about his celebration. Am I allowed to be happy? Wait.
I wonder if that was post-round or if that was like mid-round or something like that.
Yeah,
because...
of course, context is missing.
Okay, well, double AWPs here for NiP. Clearly something they feel is a necessity on their CT side. Hampus just down to a Deagle. He's done some of his best work in this map so far with the Deagle. And Linus relegated to the Famas, and here we go. Quick smoke out of spawn over towards Cave, and Molly as well. They've got that from a bunch of different angles, don't they? Over towards the ledge position. That'll stop any aggression from mid. Jumping on up. It gives Frozen and Bymas a little bit of a buffer here, but important round for NiP. Important round for both teams, money teetering.
Yeah, this could be a very big indicator as to where our ancient game will go. First game of ESL Pro League's 14th season playoffs. Both of these teams have had somewhat of a limp despite securing that playoff spot. A pot shot from Rez, and there is a bit of mid-control now for Mouse, so Dexter, he can tick that off his list.
Yeah, and I think here, as long as they don't go for the same flash maneuvers, which we haven't seen NiP do similar flash maneuvers out mid like Mouse do, they know that they can hold on to a lot of this space. So pressure over towards B again, Device and Plopski and Cave. Linus with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. If he lets them slip long, this Cave setup becomes susceptible to the flank.
Yeah, and I'm so convinced if you can, as you discussed, maintain that ramp, AWPs here should have a field day. This is a fight that Device is Molotoved out immediately and call it quits. What a lovely piece.
What a molly that was.
It completely cancelled any power Device had.
This is great from Mouse. Look at this, exploiting the tendencies. They just need to be ready for the Hampus flank.
That's all they have to be ready for. And perhaps they're not. So many backs turned. He steadies his aim, takes down the Orba. And as it fades, oh my god, a brawl. Even exchange, it does favor Rops. He got the pair. Bomb to be planted. Device had to hit that one. He puts the bomb back on the floor. And with only 15 seconds left, he could hit another one for the denial.
Oh, not far off.
Just shy of the mark. Bymas will get it down and retreat back to that ramp side. 2 orbs, but still through the smoke they strike. Only Frozen, and he's caught on the advance. Wow, great recovery from NiP. It looked like mousesports had them dead to rights there. Some of the util, I love the molly onto device.
Isn't it crazy? In back-to-back rounds, the team that we thought had the cooler play or the cooler setup actually ended up dropping it, right? The devil was in the details for both of them, but getting stolen away there.
I will say, though, the smoke shot Rez hits, if that is a completely blind, like a Hail Mary, I hope so, he's so lucky. I mean, like, that ramp position would have been enough to win the round. Let me see it. Let me see. You didn't just. Did you just?
So he saw the trace.
Yeah,
okay. So got a little bit of info. A little bit of info right there. And then Frozen, he's feeling stranded, right? Do I play behind the smokes? They're probably both going to fade. I have to take Jules on either side. I'll take the fight to them. And now a timeout called. And well, for a big reason, right? You need to have a discussion on either side of this. You don't want to let mousesports try and slip one of these low buys past you. You've already gotten away with 3. You've gotten away with 3 if you're NiP in this game, and you're only sitting at 10 rounds. You're still trailing by 2. Myth of the coach, getting vocal right now. His chance to chip on in. Next round, loss bonus. Only going to be that of 1,900 into mousesports bank balance, but that will be enough for all of them to buy. You can see here Dexter's bought down just that 2.1k mark. So you guys do the math. That's going to give him 4,000 in the next round. Can go for a Galil, can go for an AK. At least now they can keep things slightly more interesting with a few of these upgrades.
NiP kept it very interesting on rounds like this on their T side, and Hampus was a part of that. Is he really going to fight? And that's an AK delivered. Express shipping. Rez has to hit that and better survive. They could run him down, but now the AK's in play, and I don't know where it's gone. There it is, thrown over to Dexter. So it's got a little something. It's got, you know, it's a little more than just milky cereal.
Yeah, I feel like they're playing retake B, right? You can see this setup from NiP right now, and they can play both ops over towards A. This is fantastic, right? In tandem, just a shot at a time. You get offered up these kills, one into donut. Oh, one into main. Rez here just searching, seeing if he can find the smallest of gaps. Robs with the bomb will be coming through that A main position, but you need Dexter on this AK to crack a skull. That's a nice little lurk smoke there that they can advance behind.
Yeah, kept at bay for the first 6. Incendiary just now times out. 45. Dexter to rat around the smoke, hoping to slip through. Rez not going to allow that to happen. And
nice
Robs'
shot.
Deeg perhaps opening up the playbook a little here. Equals been caught, and that cross is just held. Plopsky, long range on that M4, good recovery. They will maintain at least one of the AWPs. And the visor's back in play, Chadney.
That's a different room, isn't it?
It looks different.
The room they were in the other day was quite large. There was a lot of space.
Maybe
there was couches everywhere.
Room and one's their official room.
Okay, so during the group they were just pracking.
Yeah,
and now
there was like a whole fruit community vibe. I don't know why fruit got involved. I was going to say fruit bowl.
Like bananas and apples. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Caffeinated beverages.
Well, that is that util set you were talking about. So there it is. Rob's deploying that. Aggressive mid-play here. Hampus is nuts.
What's he up to? And he is behind them. Strikes into 1, maybe 2. Hampus, you got any more for me? I mean, that's just such a kick in the groin for Mouse. He's there again. Like, I think the comms are, he's there again.
But that's in the first 15 seconds of this round right now. And now mousesports, take a look at what's left. That piece of utility, that Molotov thrown out, that is the last bit they have to operate with. It's just the guns. It's just the AWP on A-Core, the AKs on Bymas and Robs. They have to operate now from such a hampered position, all thanks to Hampus.
Fun game. If Gambit conceded these 2 opening frags, would we watch them save for 70 seconds?
At 12, what about to be 12-12 with 2,400 into the bank balance in the next round? Yeah, because next round there's nothing, right? 2,400. That's all that they're going to get as a loss bonus here, and they've lost another. Rez strikes, A-Core's down, AWP dead. Yeah.
Oh, and condemned to peanuts in the next round. They're going to get hunted. Rops has dealt with device, a bit slippery.
Okay.
It's got an imposing presence now as you hear those footsteps loudly looking to close the gap. And off the flash, he's isolated a Jewel, not so much. Linus keeps him in check.
I think, like, if Rops could, a save would be great here. But on the T side, we spoke about this the other day. I think it was when Gambit were playing, right? And they saved an M4, but everybody else had to eco the next round, and then it throws your loss bonus out of whack here. So this save, you understand it. They need something going into the next round to play. And I think, fortunately for Rops, It's him who gets to hold on to this rifle. So if we're going to look to anybody, if we're going to look to the superhero of mousesports to step up, the star, Rops could be the player to find them a couple of kills here. So all eyes are going to be on him as we move into round number 25 here, but this one was over before it even began. A minute 45, Hampus is this close, finds the first kill at a minute 43, the second at a minute 40. And there you go. At that point, you're already down 2, and you're having to operate from the back foot out the gate. So 12-12, we're all tied up. NiP are back in this, and they can even take the lead right here, right now.
You can see Frozen just having to stomach that one. It's all part of the dream career of being a professional gamer. You have to swallow those bitter pills. Hampus just outplayed and secured a very crucial 12th. Game on, advantage and NiP. Last time that happened, though, Mouse were very quick to return the favor. Boosted up on mid, trying to patrol for any aggressive Hampus maneuvers, but turns out they've put a leash on him this round.
Yeah, you can just see how passive NiP are playing here. They know what type of buy they're up against. It's scuffed. It's just this saved AK. So as soon as you identify where that is, well, you can either run and hide, or you can isolate Rops and make sure that one hits the deck. They are rotating back over towards the B bomb site. Rops will be joining them. He has a smoke and a flash. So ideally here, it'd be great if Rops could use the smoke to smoke off one of the lanes, flash his teammates in, and try and get the bomb down. Set him up for a winnable clutch scenario.
Oh, that's the cue for a bit of a nade dump. Very
well
good.
placed.
Look at that. So much damage, and with their ears ringing, mousesports start the commitment. One by one into the scope. Take your turn, stamp your ticket. There you have it. Does not get easier and quicker than that from the first point of contact to the elimination of all 5. 13, NiP 1 away.
Oh dear, and you can see right now Rops has had to buy into a Galil, right? So already coming back to haunt them. I wonder if Dexter will be selfless here and give him his AK and swap it up with the star. But this is where NiP can really change the tune here. Max loss bonus will be in play for Mouse, so as long as they can get the bomb down, they can stay competitive. They just need to keep a little bit of pressure on the CT side of Con here. Double mollies mid. They won't be disrespecting that, but waiting for it to fade. So here he is again, Hampus up to his old tricks.
You can't get away with it again. We saw how much it frustrated Mouse the first time, and he's doing it again.
They're not even clearing. They're not even clearing.
They haven't cleared him, and he takes 2. Does not expect a 3rd, but the damage is done. He's already knocked them down, kicked them while they're down. And only 2 frags away from a 14th for Ninjas.
They just had so much confidence. Like Rez was just looking ledge from the start. Oh, did Bymas catch anything there on that jump? He could really level this up. We've seen the Bymas versus Plopsky fights over towards Cave consistently throughout this game. Well, he's got another man on the side of this. It's going to be Linus. Smokes him off for now. But you have a minute on the clock and you're in a 2-on-4 situation. And I said a plant, yeah, that would give them a buy, but they need to get it down. Right now, there's not a bomb site that they can get into for free. Device has top mid covered. Rez is aggressive in A main. Plopsky and Linus are just backpedaling out of the B bomb site now. So I suppose there is an opportunity. But look at all the nades that they still have left. Like Linus still has a molly for the site. Like as soon as you breach, he can just molly the plant spot. And at that point, you're delayed. The rotation can come in. This would be some 2-on-4.
Mission bomb plant. Bare minimum. 2v4. Dream outcome. And Linus just holding that perfect angle. It worked so well on the anti-eco at 20 seconds. They'll have to do very well to clear all of these angles out effectively and diligently. A boost does look like an effective way to do it. They can kind of clear him out. And Linus ready for it, adjusts, and it's perfect. The best weapon for the job as well. Org in his hand. Gets a very clear view of that new boosted head. Juicy for the plucking. And no plant leaves them in this horrible state of limbo. 3.9, 3.4. Rez, wow. A tiny slither of Frozen's top of his dome. And you can see, yeah, looking the wrong way completely.
Yeah, naughty there by Hampus, right? He's had a couple of different looks. He's been aggressive. He's just been in their face. He's definitely using this mid fight quite well at the moment. You know, in the first half on the T side, he's the one taking mid control. In the second half, he's the one taking mid control. And that's taken a lot out of mousesports' playbook.
And I've also casted NiP CT sides where he keeps doing it and it keeps falling flat. You know, like it's his stubborn approach that this time is bearing so much fruit.
With that double mid molly, you can't double extinguish, right? If you're mouse, you can't like extinguish the first and then extinguish the second. You've just wasted 2 smokes just to get out mid. And you would have already had to have smoked top mid and donut and probably mollied that and mollied ledge as well.
So you get no smokes for the rest of the round.
Yeah, so like that's why when they go to take mid like that, they just have to respect it. It's just going to be these pistols again here. So 5 dastardly deagles is... Oh, it's a smoke molly combo this time round at Hampus. Here he is one more time.
They're not ready for him. Why does it look like they're not ready? Bymas is, but he's managed to take one with him. Effective stuff out of Hampus, and he's left Bymas on 12 HP.
Deck around right now.
Bad flash, safe angle. Plopsky set for success there. That's one to take notes from.
Yeah, I think he gets his own back there from the pistol with the CZ, right? Try that one. Got jiggled out and got absolutely wrecked. But there is a rifle to be scavenged here. Dexter wanting to see if he can find that, and he does. And this is just another situation where mousesports early stages of the round start with multiple member disadvantage. We've spoken about the 2-on-4. We've spoken about a lot of these situations where they're down. It's hard to see how they get into this.
Yeah, I mean, this just looks unlosable. Look at the NiP setup.
It is actually great, right? Rez is playing retake on A.
Yeah.
Linus has got the safety net of the red house push, and Plopsky and Device lock down B. So at this point, there's a swingman for every position.
Everything feels relatively locked. Be impressed to see you break it. Device a smoke next to their own to stop them maneuvering through it so comfortably. Flashed off the line, he will draw fire and attention. Dexter and Robs, one from cave, one from the ramp, and now just one left. 18 seconds, the poor soul, an entire squad to contend with. Plopsky isn't looking the right way, but he's very audibly heard. Device pushing in for this and will collect. So that's 3 map points on their pick. NiP given the opportunity to secure this one.
And we have Vertigo coming up next, right? So that's a bit of a curveball in the veto here, right? NiP opted to remove Nuke at the start of this one. And that saw Vertigo getting picked on in as a bit of a punish here from Mouse. Now, their Vertigo stats, I'm sure the desk are going to talk about it after this. We'll leave it up to them. But life's going to be interesting for mousesports going into the next map.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we'll save it all for when we're actually on Vertigo. Why not? There's a lot to be said about that. Dexter charging up middle. Trying to catch a little bit of something summon.
No aggressive Hampers this time, right? So the one round that they're sending out there like a heat-seeking missile to find him, nobody home other than that push is over towards A
found
this time.
Found him. No Hampers, no problem. Not for Rez, he'll be posting up for an aggressive Halls play. It is a lot of pressure on Linus, and with an AK-47, he's going to have to hold a red room take if Frozen goes late. 3 walking into Donut.
This is the right setup, though, from NiP.
If Rez somehow gets Rops early...
Oh,
that's so good! And there's no one following him, so now Device focuses attention on Donut. That's the go sign. Akor's taking him down. The crossfire's still established, though. It's a question of what Rez can get done. And Linus has done so much work. 3 when he's called upon, and just about confirms the presence of Frozen as well. Linus dumps the incendiary. Oh, they could go down, but he takes another with him. All from the rookie, 24 at the tippy top of the scoreboard as well. That's a fantastic final round of play from Island Z. NiP 1-0 up, Des to discuss it, and also to set the stage for the curveball that is Vertigo next.